Welcome PSY 364 students. This is my week 9 commentary as we are approaching the spring break next week, and this week we are focused on the studies related to violence and the role of males and the psychology of males in terms of violent behavior. Just to begin with, let's note that violent behavior isn't the same thing as angry emotions. Neither is it the same thing as violent fantasies. These in due course we can study, but we needn't think of them as either precursors to or causes of men and boys being violent. The other side of the coin for this week, of course, is violence prevention, and how indeed we can work on the solution side of things if, as many of us do, we think of violence as predominantly a bad or a negative or a problem behavior. So this week it's kind of steady on with respect to Kilmartin and Smiley, reading chapter 12 of our textbook. You'll be also developing, hopefully, a fairly good idea by now of what you're doing for your course project, and consulting with myself if I can help you develop that. I think you'll find that after the spring break, it's a very short runway to the end of this semester. So henceforth we'll be focusing on good endings. And by all means, I'm asking you now to begin making plans for the completion of your oral presentation of a draft of your course project. This is not the final paper, but rather it is working with peers to get ideas for making final improvements and edits and changes before submitting that paper. So I will be happy to expound more on the mechanics or the expectations related to that oral presentation after the spring break. If you have questions, please do post them in Dr. K's office or send me an email about the questions you have. Okay, I don't know that I want to speak at length about this issue of men and violence. It is much studied, both interpersonal violence, including rape and abuse of various kinds, as well as instrumental violence and violence associated with men in competitive sports. We will return to this subject. There's a whole chapter in Kilmartin on sports, men, and masculinity later in the semester. So let me just say once again that men and peacemaking, or men and violence prevention, is very much an interest of mine. I think you'll see the Good Men's Project as one of our links for this week, and I hope you'll take time to explore it. One of the paradoxes of thinking about violence, I often think of it as the snake and the chicken problem, where the chicken becomes fascinated by the snake and takes no action other than freezing in fascination. So also violence has an entertainment value and a fascination factor that contributes toward the likelihood of violence occurring. So my hope is, frankly, that we get to a point where this is not an exciting topic, but rather peacemaking is the exciting topic that we are interested in, both peace in an intimate interpersonal context and peace in a more collective context, and even in the context of men being alone. Suicide is one manifestation of male problem solving, predominantly male problem solving, with respect to escaping from conflict, anger, and helplessness. So as we get into the study of relationships next week after our spring break, we'll be thinking about these kinds of counterproductive problem-solving strategies in these three contexts. So enough for now. I'll be looking forward to your discussions. I'm making a big effort to make sure that all grading, including your course contributions, are updated, and that anything I can do to help you with your course projects is accomplished before we go to spring break. Over the spring break, I will be out of state in Massachusetts, where I'll be accessible online, but not by phone or for face-to-face contact here in my office. So have a good week, and good luck in your study of this intense topic.